Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, all good.
That's good. Nice to meet you, Ria.
Yeah, you too.
I'm Peter.
Oh, nice to meet you, Peter.
That's good. Um, how are you? Where are you at the moment? At home?
Yep, I'm at home. Do you know New Zealand well?
Haven't been there, but I feel really
Ah,
I feel really bad that I haven't been there because you're so close. But one day
no,
we'll get
don't,
across there.
yeah, no, don't feel bad. I live in a place called Tauranga on the east coast, near the sea, right next to the sea.
Oh, beautiful.
North Island, yeah.
All right. How is it there today?
It's warm, but it's starting to turn a bit cloudy. So,
Yeah, we've had a bit of the same actually. We've had some really, really hot weather, and now it's a cold day. And
yeah,
my
weird.
my daughter's on vacation care, and she's off to the pool. So hopefully
Oh,
the weather clears
nice.
up a bit for her.
Yeah, good on you. Good on
Yeah.
her.
Firstly, thanks. I always say thanks for chatting to community radio. I think
Mm,
it's very important. I think part of any city, and
yeah,
it's really great when we get people such of the caliber of yourself wanting to have a chat with us, which is really good. Um,
yeah.
that said, I have just I spent a little bit of time watching earlier of it just caught my eye on YouTube. You in the car for Tahu FM
Oh, yeah.
90.5. And
Yeah.
you and the chap in the back with the guitar, and it
Yeah,
caught my
Rob.
yeah, Rob, yeah, it caught my eye because I initially drew my eye because of the whole James Corden carpool karaoke thing. And I
Yeah.
thought, I'm going to listen to that. But then it just made me realize that, singing in the car is a lot of fun. How was that experience, to kind of sit in the car, drive around the city and talk and sing and know that it was actually being recorded and going to go out there to the world.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool because it was so casual. It's not often that you have someone playing the guitar and singing in the back seat and we're moving. So no, it was cool, and it was just cool because it was so easy and we could just be ourselves and there's always it's always so much more authentic when it's kind of a little bit more casual rather than set up, so to
Mm.
speak. So it was nice. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I got that sense as well. And what I did pick up
Mm,
watching it also was there was a real, I guess, sense of uh, I felt the Maori music community was really tight just
mm,
listening
mm,
to that conversation. And your I'd suggest you're pretty big news over there in terms of your own musical career, but it sounds like there's a real
mm.
desire to give back and support other musicians in the community. Do you want to tell us a little bit, because we don't probably know that much about it here in Adelaide? Do you want to tell us a bit
Yeah.
about the Maori music community and and what it's like over there to be part of that scene?
Oh, it's a real privilege to be part of a wider community who all have, although we come from different genres, different stories, different um, viewpoints, different cultural viewpoints. What brings us together is our language, is Te Reo Māori, and and the values that underpin Māori culture. So that's really exciting because it's neat. It's awesome to see Te Reo Māori, Māori language, and Māori music thriving in many different spaces. And I think that that's what's the most exciting thing about Māori music is that it's still it's still expanding and it's still a burgeoning phenomenon. So we've got lots of younger reo enthusiasts, both Maori and non-Maori, that are starting to come through the ranks now who are interested in exploring Te Reo Māori music. We have a we have a it's called we have a kaupapa here. We have a how do I explain what kaupapa is in English? We have a new platform here over the last couple of years. It's called the Waiata Anthems series, and that was started by Dame Hinewehi Mohi, who is a prolific Māori singer, songwriter, performer. But she stepped into another space now, and she's using her platform to really help push more mainstream or push artists that are typically not Māori language engaging artists, and setting them up with Māori language experts and revisiting their own works in Te Reo Māori. And so people are also not only seeing the growth of Te Reo Māori and Māori language music on mainstream radio for a starter, it's also encouraging those who had never really engaged with the language before, from a musical point of view, to it's really encouraging to see that people are the uptake of people involved in the Waiata anthems process. So there's lots happening here in Aotearoa in the Te Reo Māori space, which is so cool.
That's great. And where does it? You were talking about mainstream as well. So I'm just give us an idea of sort of where does it connect? How does it connect with the mainstream music scene as well? Is it seen as like a separate sort of genre? My experience of just what we hear over here is that it does seem quite connected. But talk us through your experience in terms of how how it interacts, I guess, with the mainstream music scene over there.
Yeah, I suppose, for a long period of time, Te Reo Māori music hasn't been viewed. It's been viewed more from the lens of like world or folk music, or cultural music. Whereas for Māori musicians and singers of Te Reo Māori, purveyors of Te Reo Māori, we are the mainstream, so it makes no different. It makes no difference for us. But now we are widely hearing on mainstream radio some of our songs, Te Reo Māori songs that have been widely accepted by a broader, whiter audience, which is such a huge achievement for us over here. I mean, it's a huge achievement for any Indigenous culture to have their language heard and interacted with by non-Indigenous people. So, I mean, there's just so much healing that can happen in engaging with First Nations music and Indigenous music, and we are definitely seeing there's definitely a turning of the tide here. I mean, there's still a lot of work to be done, but there's definitely a turning of the tide here, which is really heartening to witness and be part of.
That's wonderful. I kind of get the same sense over here too with our First Nations music as well. But no, that's really wonderful to hear. And thanks for kind of painting that picture, because I think we get quite a limited view, I guess, over here. Like, with so it's really great. So your voice is amazing. So
thank you.
Tell us about, like, when did you discover you had such a great amazing singing voice, and did it come naturally? Did you have to work at it? Talk us through sort of, I guess, a bit of your background.
Well, I wasn't raised in a musical family, and there is a bit of an expectation that when you are Maori or Pacific Island, or that there is more of a propensity for our cultures to be immersed in music, just by virtue of our cultures. So in my family, while that is the case, it isn't the case. I'm kind of an anomaly in my own immediate family. I'm the only musically inclined woman. There's 4 of us girls, and I'm the youngest of 4. We were all kind of more heading towards the sport upbringing. I mean, we all played heaps of sport. That was kind of our bread and butter. And I was always really into music from a very, very young age. I sang in our church choir. When I say church, I mean like on our marae, our traditional grounds. And I was involved in the faith of our marae, in their ceremonies and in their practices. So I was involved in the Ratana Church Choir, where I come from a young age. And I've always held that experience as something that has really propelled my singing abilities. And I've definitely had to work at my singing over the years. It wasn't necessarily something that was handed to me, or I didn't take any singing lessons, or I don't have any letters next to my name in terms of a music education. But what I do have is cultural education and kapahaka, our traditional Māori performing arts, which is really the space where I found my voice, particularly as a teenager. I really grew vocally in the kapahaka space, in the traditional Māori performing arts space. And I always acknowledge that those beginnings for me, because kapahaka has had such a powerful impact on my life across the board, and it still does today. So that's kind of, how it started for me. I was always a good singer, but I had to work over the years at kind of honing my craft. And I mean, I'm still working at it, and I've been singing professionally for 20 plus years now.
It's good. I think people still have to work at whatever it is that they do, isn't it? Just to make sure.
Oh yeah.
I think the moment you stop, you probably start losing it.
Yeah, you got to keep sharpening the tools, right?
You do, yes, absolutely. Lost my train of thought very, very quickly. Just actually, firstly, I should just quickly call out to the listeners. We are on 3D radio, and we are talking with Ria Hall, who is actually playing WOMAD Adelaide. We haven't talked about WOMAD yet, but is playing WOMAD Adelaide 2023. I've wasn't wanting to be rude, but I was just very quickly looking up when you were playing. But you're going to be here on Sunday and Monday, so the last couple of days of the festival. So I know WOMAD has its own New Zealand festivals. Were you performed there before?
Yeah, yes, a number of times.
Yeah.
I'm actually performing there again when I come back from WOMAD Adelaide.
It's a bit of a wish of mine to get over there one day to kind of go to the New Zealand WOMAD Adelaide. It's WOMAD Adelaide, the New Zealand WOMAD Festival. But it does strike me as a really, again, a wonderful experience. What's your experience been like of WOMAD New Zealand?
Oh, look, I've been going to WOMAD for over a decade now, and every time I go, for me, it's definitely the best, most family-friendly festival in the country, hands down. Yet it still has this. It's just because WOMAD has so many layers. There's so many layers to it, which makes it so interesting and so vibrant, and it makes for such a wonderful, like if you have kids or if you want to take your family with you, it's the best thing to do, because they can just immerse themselves in everything that's WOMAD. And it's just neat going to all the stages, exposing yourself to other cultures, other languages. I mean, because that's me. I love that. That's me to a T. So if you get a chance to come over, you must come to Aotearoa and come to our WOMAD.
It's on the list. It's on the bucket list. I'm hoping to sort of do one quickly followed by the other. Would be great. I had a friend in it, and she said it was really amazing. So
cool.
No, that's really good. Your most recent record came out 2020.
2020. My gosh.
Yeah. So Manawa Wera. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Very good.
Yeah.
Manawa Wera. Very good. Very good.
You've already talked about how I guess your community is really important to you. This record seems to reflect that a lot. It's a really awesome listen, like really amazing reggae, soul reggae record as well. But there's some themes. There are some themes through there that seem to be very important. I think. Do you want to talk a bit about that on the record, and kind of what about that project, and kind of how you what you wanted to achieve through that project and how it all came together?
Really, at the core of the entire work, I wanted to create a authentic reggae album that was able to appropriately pay homage to reggae greats, but through a Māori viewpoint and through a Māori style of musicianship. Actually, when we recorded the album, I recorded the album in Wellington at the Surgery. Shout outs to Dr. Lee Preble, who was behind the desk engineering, amazing man. I was heavily pregnant at the time when we recorded my vocals in particular. I was pregnant with my first son. I think I might have been about 36 weeks pregnant when I did all the vocals. So I was about to drop any time. So I was like, I need to get this done right now. So otherwise I'm going to have the baby on the, Anyway, it was a really quick, profound, deep experience, from the writing to the creation of the music. And I have Laughton Kora to thank for that. He basically lived with me here at my house. We recorded our demos just out here in my little studio next to my house. And then we went straight to Wellington and did the whole band, and obviously my vocals. But it was very quick, and we knew we were onto something good when we were writing songs really, really fast. And it felt like we didn't need to do too much either. Like, I didn't want to overextend myself or overexert myself when we've actually said everything we need to say really succinctly in those tracks. And I'm, to this day, I mean, it's 3 years on this March that we released the work, Manawa Wera, and I'm so very proud of it, because for me, there aren't a lot of women that, or from what I gather anyway, that stand really firmly in that reggae space in their authentic self. And while I'm able to traverse and sing other styles of music very confidently, I feel like for me, this record is who I am, and it still speaks to issues that are relevant 3 years on, 4 years on since we wrote the record. And I'm really looking forward to coming over to WOMAD and performing it with my full band. It's going to be cool. Excited.
I look forward to hearing it, because the band, just from what I've seen, it's just smoking. So it's really good. So
thank you.
and WOMAD has a I think a proud history of bringing over some amazing artists from New Zealand. In fact, probably my first WOMAD I ever went to, the one artist or the one performers that I walked away just with my mind blown was I don't know if you know Mona and the Moa Hunters? Do you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh yes. Oh yeah. Moana Maniapoto, the lead singer, she is she's an absolute force in a number of fields, and I've always looked up to her for what she has done for the progression of Māori music. Incredible.
Yeah, they were amazing, and I just remember, like, they had these dances. They were sort of doing like the haka, but it was sort of like hip hop at the same time, and it was like, it just blew my mind. I'm going, oh my god, this thing. And that was the first time I'd ever been to the festival, and that was back in the 90s, and it was just so incredible.
Awesome.
So we're really looking for, and so since then there's just been such a great list of wonderful New Zealand performers who've come through. I know, like Fat Freddy's Rock, for example, are big favourites over here, and stuff like that. So we're looking forward to really seeing you get across and put on an amazing performance for us. So cool. So Sunday and Monday you can see Ria Hall at WOMAD. We really look forward to having you come across and perform for us. Looking at the time, we're probably nearly done, but what about the future? Have you got any more music you're working on, or tell us about what's happening there?
Yeah, I've been busy having children.
Oh,
so,
of course,
so I've finished that now. I've got three babies, so that's me done and dusted. I'm hoping to start my next project later on in the year. I've also been back at university doing some study, so it's been a full on time. But I'm really looking forward to getting my creative chops up again and doing an album, however it looks, just completely in te reo in the Māori language. So
I also think that the having 3 children is probably my family's experience, that you do take time away from a lot of things to put time and energy and love into bringing up the children. So don't rush it.
I say that now, and then probably won't be until next year that I do something musically. But anyway, Yeah.
No, wonderful. Well, look, we look forward to seeing you down in Adelaide and or up in Adelaide, I guess, for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, look forward and thank you so much for taking the time today. And I'll come say hi if I'm around the traps and
Yeah, please do.
I'll come meet you. But thanks so much for taking the time and having a chat today.
You're welcome. Thank you for
Cheers.
having me.
All right.
Kia ora. Kia
Take care.
ora.
Cheers. See you later.
Yep, you too. Bye bye.
Bye.